No one saw them coming. The sky above New York, Tokyo, London, and 50 other big cities turned dark at noon as huge alien ships blocked the sun. These ships looked like giant metal bugs, with smooth sides that glowed with strange blue lights. All phones, TVs, and radios stopped working at once. People ran through the streets, some crying, some taking pictures, some just staring up with open mouths. In Houston, Alan Wright sat at his desk at NASA, trying to make sense of the readings on his computer before the power died. The backup generators kicked in, but nothing seemed to work right. He walked to the window, just as all the lights went out. "Look," shouted Bill, another engineer. "They're landing." A bright beam shot down from the ship above them, hitting the empty field next to the parking lot. The light formed a perfect circle on the ground, like a spotlight on a stage. Then 3 figures floated down through the beam. Alan pressed his face to the glass. The aliens were tall, at least 7 feet, with bodies like skinny humans, but with 4 arms instead of 2. Their skin changed colors as they moved, shifting from deep green to purple, almost like they were made of oil on water. Their heads were too big for their bodies, with huge eyes that looked like black marbles. "We need to tell someone," said Susan Miller, who worked down the hall from Alan. She fumbled for her phone. "The military, the president, someone needs to know they're here." "They already know," Alan said, watching as the aliens walked around, touching the grass and looking at the building. One of them pointed at the windows where the humans watched. "But no one can talk to anyone right now. All signals are blocked." People gathered at the windows, whispering and pointing. Security guards ran past, heading for the exits with guns drawn. "They'll shoot first and ask questions later," Alan said, suddenly moving toward the door. Susan grabbed his arm. "Where are you going?" "Outside. Someone needs to try talking to them before bullets start flying. Are you crazy?" Susan's eyes went wide. "They could kill you." Alan shook her off. "Maybe, but this is first contact with aliens. I'm not going. To hide while someone else messes it up." Before anyone could stop him, Alan ran down the hall and out the emergency exit. The alarm didn't even sound. Nothing electrical worked right anymore. The air outside felt strangely heavy, like before a storm. The alien ship hummed overhead, so big it seemed impossible that it could float there without falling. The 3 aliens turned to look at Alan as he walked slowly across the grass. His heart hammered in his chest, but he kept his hands up to show he had no weapons. "Hello," he called out, feeling stupid. What was he supposed to say to beings from another world? "Welcome to Earth. I'm Alan." The tallest alien stepped forward. It wore something like armor, but flowing like liquid metal across its strange body. It made a series of clicks and whistles, then pulled out something from a pocket in its suit. The thing looked like a gun. Alan froze. 20 yards away, he saw the security guards taking aim from behind cars in the parking lot. "Wait," he shouted, but he wasn't sure who he was talking to, the aliens or the guards. The alien pointed the gun at Alan's chest and fired. A beam of bright blue light shot out and hit Alan square in the chest. He braced for pain, for burning, for death, but felt nothing. The light spread across his shirt like water, then faded away. The alien made a sound like breaking glass and fired again. Again, the beam hit Alan but caused no harm. From the building, people gasped. The security guards looked at each other, confused. The alien tried a bigger weapon, pulling it from behind its back. This one glowed red instead of blue. It fired, and a burst of energy hit Alan with enough force to make him step back, but still no pain. The light splashed across his skin like rain, then disappeared. The 3 aliens began making loud, fast clicking sounds to each other. Their movements became jerky and quick. They seemed upset. Alan took a deep breath and stepped closer. "We don't want to fight," he said clearly. "We want to talk." The aliens huddled together, all 4 arms of each being moving as they communicated. The tallest one kept looking at its weapons, then at Alan. Finally, it put the guns away and stepped forward. It raised one hand, palm out, copying Alan's gesture. In the NASA building, people began to cheer. Someone found a paper and pen and held a note to the window. "You're a hero." But Alan knew he wasn't a hero. He was just lucky. For some reason, alien weapons couldn't hurt him. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling this strange fact might be the most important discovery in human history. The alien extended one of its hands toward Alan. The hand had 6 fingers, long and thin like a spider's legs. Alan hesitated, then reached out his own hand. Their fingers touched. The alien's skin felt cool and smooth, almost like touching a snake. When their hands met, the alien's skin changed color again, this time to a deep gold color. Behind them, more beams of light appeared as more aliens came down from the ship. In the distance, Alan heard helicopters. The military was coming. First contact had just begun, and Alan knew nothing would ever be the same again. What he didn't know was that the simple fact that alien weapons couldn't hurt human skin would change the destiny of both species forever. 3 days after the aliens landed, Alan sat in a big room at the Pentagon. Men and women in military uniforms looked at him like he was as strange as the aliens. "Let me get this straight," said General Pete Davis, hitting his hand on the table. "You're saying their ray guns don't hurt us at all?" "Yes, sir," Alan said. "They shot me twice, nothing happened. The scientists tested their weapons on 30 volunteers after that. Same result every time. The alien weapons just don't work on human skin." Dr. Linda Brown showed pictures on a big screen. She wore thick glasses and spoke fast. "Look at these cells under a microscope. When the alien energy hits human skin, it just bounces off. It's like trying to cut steel with a plastic knife." General Davis rubbed his chin. "So we can't be hurt by their fancy space guns?" "Not the energy ones," Linda said. "But they probably have real bullets too. Or bombs. Those would still kill us. But their main weapons, the ones they plan to use to take over Earth, those don't work on humans." Alan nodded. "That's why they looked so confused when they shot me. It's like showing up to a fight with what you think is a great weapon, then finding out it's broken." The aliens had landed in 50 different places around the world. They called themselves the Zith. At first there was panic, but when people saw the alien weapons didn't work, things calmed down. Scientists created simple ways to talk with them using computers and hand signals. "What do they really want?" asked General Davis. "Why come to Earth at all?" Alan took a deep breath. "They're scouts. More aliens are coming, lots more. They find planets with good stuff they need, metals, water, whatever, and they take it. They call it gathering." The room got very quiet. "So they're here to steal from us," Davis said in a hard voice. "Yes, sir," Alan answered. "But they're confused now. They've done this to hundreds of planets. This is the first time their weapons didn't work on the local people." Linda stood up. "We studied pieces of their ships that fell off during landing. Their ships are built to handle their own weapons. But that means our regular guns and missiles might work better on them than they expected." General Davis stood up and walked around. "So we might have a fighting chance." "More than that," Alan said. "They're calling home for help, but they're also asking to talk with us. I think they're not sure if Earth is worth the trouble now. Or they just want to keep us busy until more of them show up," Davis said. Linda shook her head. "We don't think." "So the aliens seem really shocked. They've never had to talk or make deals before. They're interested in us now." "Interested or not," Davis said. "We need to get ready to fight if we have to. But yes, we'll talk to them. And we'll make sure they know humans won't be easy to push around." Later that day, Alan and Linda met in the hallway. "Do you think there's really a chance for peace?" Linda asked. Alan stared out a window at the alien ship that hung in the sky above Washington. It looked like a giant metal bug, blocking part of the sun. "Maybe," he said. "The aliens are smart. If their weapons don't work and fighting us would be hard, why bother? There are other planets without people on them. Mars has metals. Venus has gases. The asteroids have rare stuff. Why fight for Earth if they don't have to?" "But will they see it that way?" Linda asked. "I don't know," Alan admitted. "But we have one big advantage. They didn't expect this. They thought they'd land. Their weapons would work and they'd take over. Now they have to think again. That night, Alan couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what would happen next. The aliens had technology far beyond human understanding. They could travel between stars. They had weapons that could probably destroy whole cities, even if their hand weapons didn't work on human skin. But humans had something the aliens didn't expect, a natural shield against their main weapons. And now the aliens were confused, cautious, and curious. As he finally drifted off to sleep, Alan wondered if this strange twist of fate, this accident of human biology, might be what saved Earth from being just another planet these aliens took over. Tomorrow the real talks would begin, and Alan would be there, the man whose skin somehow shattered alien weapons. The United Nations building in New York had a special room ready for the aliens. Workers made the room cooler and darker, and put machines that sprayed a light fog into the air. The aliens needed these things to feel comfortable on Earth. Alan sat next to Kate Wilson, America's top diplomat. Across the round table sat 3 aliens. They had small black boxes in front of them that translated their clicks and whistles into English. The main alien, who said his name was Kraz, looked at the humans with his big black eyes. "We do not understand," he said through the translator box. His voice sounded like a robot. "Your people have simple technology, but our weapons do not hurt you. This has never happened before." Kate leaned forward. Maybe this shows that trying to take over other planets isn't a good idea. The alien's skin changed colors, which Alan had learned meant the alien thought something was funny or maybe stupid. "Taking over planets works well," Kraz said. "We need things that your world has. We take what we need." "Mars has things too," Alan said. "So does Venus. And all the asteroids in our solar system. No one lives on those places." The 3 aliens made clicking sounds to each other for a minute. The translator boxes stayed silent. "We always take from planets with people on them," Kraz finally said. "We have done this for thousands of years. We come, we win, we take." "But now you're talking with us instead," Kate said, "because your normal way of doing things didn't work this time." The middle alien, a scientist named Mez, spoke up. "We studied your bodies. Something in your cells stops our weapons from working. It's very strange. We've never seen this on any planet." "Good luck for us," Alan said. "Not luck," Mez replied. "Evolution. Your sun, your planet's magnetic field. Something made your bodies this way. We want to learn more about it." Kate sat up straight. "We can let you study this, if we work together peacefully. But you have to stop using weapons on humans right now." "You cannot tell us what to do," Kraz said. "Can't we?" Kate asked. "Your main weapons don't hurt us, but our regular guns and bombs work fine on you and your ships, and our armies all over the world are getting ready to fight if we have to." The third alien, who hadn't talked yet, spoke up. "More of our ships are coming. Many more. They will not be as nice as we are." "Then you should tell them to be nice," Kate said calmly. "Because if they come looking for an easy fight, they'll find a hard one instead. One that will cost many. Lives on both sides." The room got very quiet. The aliens talked to each other again. "We have another idea," Kraz finally said. "We can make a deal. We take things from Mars and other places with no people, and we give you some of our technology. We can also keep other aliens away from your planet." "Keep other aliens away?" Alan asked. "Your special bodies are worth something," Mez explained. "But other aliens might see you as dangerous instead of useful. We could stop them from bothering you." Kate smiled a little. "So now instead of taking our planet, you want to be friends and protect us. How nice of you." "It makes sense," Kraz said. "You are different. Different things have value." "We'll think about your offer," Kate said. "But any deal will have strong rules about where you can go in our solar system, and you can't use weapons on any more humans." After the meeting, Alan walked with Kate down the hallway. "Do you think they really mean it?" he asked. "About being allies instead of enemies?" "I think they're smart," she answered. "They figured out that fighting us would cost too much. For now, that's good enough." Alan looked out a window at the alien ship hanging in the sky over New York. It looked like a giant metal bug. Strange to think that a week ago, the aliens had planned to take over Earth. Now they were offering to protect it, all because by some cosmic accident, their weapons didn't work on human skin. That night, news about the meeting spread around the world. People looked up at the alien ships with less fear now. Humans had a chance. Maybe more than a chance, maybe a future where Earth could deal with aliens as equals, not victims. We got lucky, Alan told Susan on the phone that night. She was still in Houston, studying alien technology. Not just lucky, she said. Think about it. Out of all the planets they've taken over, Earth is the only one where people are immune to their weapons. What are the odds of that? 1 in a million, 1 in a billion? So what are you saying? Alan asked. I'm saying maybe it's not an accident, Susan replied. Maybe we're special for a reason. Alan didn't know about that. But special or not, humanity had just earned its place at a table much bigger than anyone had imagined before the aliens came. 2 months after the aliens first came to Earth, humans and Zith built a special testing place in the Nevada desert. It was a big building where both sides could study each other safely. Alan worked there every day with Mez, the Zith scientist. Big Fleet has changed course, Mez told Alan one morning as they looked at strange tools in the lab. Kraz told them to go somewhere else instead. That's good news, Alan said, looking into a special microscope that both humans and aliens could use. I'm surprised they listened. There are many places to get what we need in your solar system, Mez replied. Fighting for one planet when there are empty ones is a waste, especially when that planet has people who are difficult. Alan smiled. Is that a compliment? Just a fact, Mez said, but his skin turned gold, which Alan knew meant the alien was being friendly. For weeks they had been studying why Zith weapons didn't hurt humans. They took small skin samples from volunteers, nothing that hurt anyone, and tested them with alien energy beams. Every time the human cells just ignored the alien energy like it wasn't even there. We think we understand why now, Mez said, showing a picture of tiny human cells on a big screen. Inside your cells are small parts called mitochondria. They handle energy in a special way that stops our weapons from working. So our power plants protect us from your ray guns, Alan said, trying to make it simple. Yes, Mez agreed. Your cell power plants eat our weapon energy for breakfast. Alan laughed. Mez was learning human expressions. Susan, who now worked at the test center too, looked at the pictures. So what does this mean for both of us now? Before Mez could answer, the door opened, and General Davis walked in with a team of soldiers and scientists. General, Alan said, surprised. We weren't expecting you. Change of plans, Davis said. The Zith leaders want to see something special. What kind of something? Susan asked. They want to see if humans are bulletproof against their weapons. In a real fight, Mez answered. Alan felt worried. You want to shoot at people for real? Not exactly, Davis explained. We want to see if we can take what makes human skin special and turn it into a shield for both our kinds. Mez touched the screen, changing the picture. We think we can copy what's special about human cells and make a protection field. If it works, it would change how war works everywhere in space. And make humans very valuable friends to have, Susan said. Yes, Mez agreed. The other aliens might stop taking over planets if their weapons stopped working. But we need to test it first, Davis said. We need brave people to try it. Alan understood right away. You want me to do it. Because I was the first one they shot at. Davis nodded. You and some trained soldiers. The Zith leaders are sending important people to watch. If it works, if we can show that human biology can be turned into shield technology, it changes everything. And if it doesn't work? Susan asked, looking worried. The general looked serious. Then we'll know where things stand. 3 days later, Alan stood on an open field wearing what looked like a thin shirt made of strange, shiny material. 6 soldiers stood with him, wearing the same thing. Across the field, Zith weapons were set up on stands, ready to fire. In a safe place nearby, Zith leaders watched with human military people and scientists, including Susan and General Davis. The shield has human cell material in it, Mez explained to everyone watching. It should handle our weapons the same way human skin does, by making the energy disappear. Should? Susan whispered. Early tests on non-living things worked well, Mez said. This is the final test. On the field, Alan took a deep breath. The special shirt felt warm against his skin, almost like it was alive. Test starting in 3, 2, 1, a voice said over a speaker. The Zith weapons all fired at once, sending beams of energy at Alan and the soldiers. For a moment, everyone held their breath. The beams hit the special shirts and scattered away, just like they had when they hit bare human skin that first day in Houston. But now the shirts seemed to soak up the energy, glowing brighter with each hit. Amazing, said one of the Zith leaders. The human power worked. In the safe place, even General Davis smiled. It works. Better than works, Mez said, pointing to some numbers on a screen. The shirts aren't just stopping the energy, they're saving it. With some work, this technology might be able to send the energy back. On the test field, Alan looked down at his glowing shirt in wonder. What had started as a scary alien invasion had changed into something new, a partnership that might change the future for both humans and aliens. 5 years after the Zith ships first appeared in Earth's skies, humans and aliens signed a big peace agreement. They called it the Solar System Friendship Treaty. The signing happened on a new space station called Unity that floated between Earth and the Moon. Alan, now an important ambassador for Earth, stood with his wife Susan as they watched people from Earth and aliens from many different worlds gather in the big main room. The room had special areas for different aliens who needed different air and temperature. Did you ever think this would happen? Susan asked quietly. When they first showed up and tried to shoot you? Alan smiled. Never in my wildest dreams. The human Zith shield technology had changed everything. What started as a strange fact about human skin had grown into technology that made most energy weapons useless. This forced the space-traveling aliens to find new ways to deal with each other. Fighting wasn't easy anymore, so working together made more sense. Earth quickly became important in space politics, not because humans had the best spaceships or weapons, but because human bodies had something special that had developed over millions of years without anyone knowing how valuable it would be. General Davis, now retired but still helping with space matters, walked up to Alan and Susan. Some view, huh? He said, looking out the big window at Earth below. Better than the Pentagon meeting room, Alan said with a smile. Davis laughed. Hard to believe it's been 5 years, from almost war to this. From enemies to friends, Susan added. The formal signing began. Kraz, now the leader of all Zith explorers, stepped up to speak. 5 years ago, Kraz said, we came to this system as takers, following old rules made thousands of years ago. We expected to find things to take. Instead, we found something much more valuable, people unlike any we had met before. All the aliens in the room made their versions of agreeing sounds. Humans taught us that being different isn't bad but good. Their special bodies, once just a problem for our weapons, have now become the basis for technology that helps all our peoples. Alan listened, still amazed by how things had turned out. What could have been a terrible war had instead become the start of something new and good. The Solar System Friendship Treaty creates not just peace between us, Kraz continued, but a new way for different kinds of people to work together. Where we once only took, we now share. Where we once saw differences as bad, we now see them as good. As the treaty was signed, Alan thought about the simple twist of luck that had changed everything. The strange way human cells handled alien energy. It wasn't better ships or guns that had saved humanity. It was just what human bodies were made of. Sometimes the best defense was just being yourself.